Heavy rain looks likely for the next couple of days. We'll break down the hourly forecast.
As more rain quickly approaches the region, officials and local residents alike keep a close eye on the rising Cumberland River.
As the incoming rain approaches, I'll tell you what Bell County officials are doing as they worry about possible flooding. This area, for example, was completely underwater last year.
A Russell County couple says that they figure they were nearly crushed to death after a major rock slide near Lake Cumberland.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The next few days could be some tense ones across the bluegrass. Already high river levels coupled with a few more inches of rain could lead to some flooding. Here's what Cumberland Falls look like today. And as you can see, it looks more like a river than a natural waterfall. And the sound of that rushing water almost deafening. Let's begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Andrew Dockery, who's keeping a close eye on those river level projections. Andrew?
Yeah, Steve, those river levels going to be what we watch as we head into the next couple of days. Good news is no rivers in our area are forecasted in the next 72 hours to reach the moderate stage. In fact, we take a look at these forecasts. These are the ones that are expected to reach either action stage, just below flood stage, or even some minor. Of course, you'll notice the Cumberland River expected to rise anywhere from 6 to 10 feet, some locations more than that. And we'll continue to watch it as this system starts to work in. Rain now falling in southern Kentucky, and temperatures going to be allowing maybe a wintry mix on the front edge of this, creating a few slick spots. Of course, that flood watch goes into your Thursday. The rivers should remain okay. They'll be high, don't get us wrong, but we will see some problems as we head into the weekend if that second system does verify. Steve, a full look at that forecast is coming up in a few short minutes.
All right, thank you, Andrew. The ground of the Cumberland Valley is already drenched from rainfall during the past week, and that is worrying officials in Bell County who are all too familiar with what major flooding can bring. WYMT's Connor James met up with those officials who are bracing for the upcoming rain. He joins us from the newsroom. Connor?
Steve, like you said, they really are bracing themselves for the rain. The flooded area in Bell County from last year, you know, it looked completely fine about a day before. Here's some video of the park today. A little puddling, but no flooding as of now. Now, what worries them, though, is how quickly a few inches of rain can flood the Cumberland River and turn this area basically into a running river.
We're trying to get everything in order, and it concerns us that there's so much rain coming. It's hard to get a bead on how much that it's going to make the river rise, but we know that we have a saturated ground, and anything that falls, a lesser amounts that maybe normally wouldn't cause you problems will cause us problems because it's all just running off into the rivers.
Connor, how much rain would it take to cause that type of flooding again?
So right now the Cumberland River is sitting at about 983 feet. That's about 10 feet higher than it should be. And with an expected 1 to 2 inches of rain throughout Thursday, that could cause the river to rise an additional 10 to 12 feet.
And more rain this weekend, too. We'll definitely keep a close eye on it. Connor, thank you. A rock slide closed part of a busy southern Kentucky highway near the dam that holds back Lake Cumberland. State transportation officials say saturated ground caused part of the rock wall to give way just above US 127 south of Wolf Creek Dam near Jamestown. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more from Russell County.
I am standing right beside Lake Cumberland, and over here is Wolf Creek Dam. And of course, the water levels have risen significantly because of all the rainfall that we've received. And yesterday, also because of all the rainfall, there was another problem. We take the camera over here, a lot of this rock came crashing down, and we talked to a couple today who says that they fear they were nearly crushed by a lot of rocks that came falling down over this area as they were taking a look at Lake Cumberland.
By that time, I was done up where I was going, and he yelled at me again at the top of his lungs and said, "Linda, you need to get in the truck now." And about that time is when the rock slide came down. And there was this little car that was coming around us, and he had to yell and stop at them because if he wouldn't have, it would have landed right on top of them.
Kentucky transportation officials have maintained a presence here all day long. One lane of the roadway is open. They plan to maintain that one lane being open, but they do hope to make some further repairs to this area at some point. On Lake Cumberland, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
State transportation officials say no additional rock has fallen since the initial slide Monday afternoon. All this recent rain is likely to blame for a large sinkhole that caused a garbage truck to crash. These images are from Somerset Police. Officers tell us the ground collapsed under the truck as the driver was pulling away yesterday morning. The truck dropped several feet into the sinkhole. The driver fortunately was not hurt. In Estill County, officials say the Kentucky River is actually going down right now, but it is expected to go back up quickly in the coming days. The river is not expected to impact any homes at this point, but will likely cover some low-lying roads. Officials are reminding everyone to never drive through a flooded roadway. And just a reminder, you can always find the latest weather conditions on the WYMT weather app, see live radar, and zoom right into your neighborhood. You can also learn about warnings and advisories in your area. You can find it at the Apple and Google Play stores. Well, add Knott County to the list of places officials have declared a state of emergency. Just last month, financial problems forced them to partially shut down the county's government. Now a new challenge. Road repairs have started to pile up with all of this bad weather, and as WYMT's Justin Case explains, the road department there does not have the money to fix them all. He joins us now live from Hindman. Justin?
Steve, the local state of emergency here in Knott County was declared last Wednesday. County officials say in just the last week, they've already seen more than $150,000 worth of damages to county roads from things like breaks in the roadways, mudslides, and rock slides. Now, the county judge executive says that only one of those roads is currently impassable. 7 others are damaged, but he fears what more severe weather this week could bring to other roads throughout the county. Now, he says the road department only has about $35,000 available to it, not even close to being enough to fix the roadways around here right now. He says the state of emergency, he really hopes that will bring in state road aid, which will help with the repairs.
The hardest thing is you got folks like that lives in this holler here. They can get up to here and can't go beyond this flagging. You know, it's a safety issue, and they can't drive over this road, and they're having to walk onto their home.
Steve, now the Knott County Fiscal Court is meeting right behind me here right now. I'm actually going to head over there as soon as we get done talking. Now, there are 2 proposals on the table. One is a 2% occupational tax. The other is a 4% insurance tax. Remember, the 8% insurance tax expired at the end of last year, so it would be half what it was. But that money essentially would go to helping pay for the repairs of the county roads around here. We'll have much more on this developing story tonight at 11. Steve?
All right, just in case. Thank you. Well, like so many other school districts, Pike County is struggling to keep attendance up because of sickness. They have canceled for the rest of the week, and we have received several other closings this afternoon. Most of those are due to illnesses. You can find a complete list at the bottom of your screen and on WYMT.com. New information this evening about a fire in Perry County. We first told you about this at 4 o'clock. It closed Highway 451 for a brief time. That road is now reopened. We talked to the family that lived in the home. One woman told us she just lost her husband and tried to run back in to save pictures of him.
I could have did it. I could have went in there and got that. We lost it all. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Firefighters were unable to save anything from the home. If we learn of a way to help the family, we will let you know. A report of a woman passed out in her car led to a drug bust in Hazard. Police say they found Teresa Muncie in her car at the Daniel Boone Plaza. Inside, investigators say they found drugs seen in this picture. They charged Muncie with DUI and possession of meth and drug paraphernalia. The body of a woman found in Knox County on Monday has been identified. Kentucky State Police say Shannon Harkins Wombles' body was found in a shallow creek off of Ed Harp Lane. Families say they found the body when looking in the area where her car was found back in January.
I started up through here, then I went back out, went up on the bank, started looking underneath these pine trees, and then it cleared up right in here. I looked down, I seen it.
Kentucky State Police say they have not been able to determine a cause of death, but say there was no trauma to the body. Also in the Cumberland Valley, family members still need help finding Jessica Caldwell. She was last seen in Bell County last June. Anyone with information about where Jessica Caldwell might be is asked to call the Kentucky State Police Post 10 in Harlan. That number is 606-573-3131. In honor of President's Day, Kentucky lawmakers are going back in history during today's session. The General Assembly convened this afternoon in the old state capitol's historic chambers. From 1830 to 1910, lawmakers worked inside the building on West Broadway Street. The Kentucky Historical Society says they wanted lawmakers to spend a day in the old state capitol to look back on the Commonwealth's history. Executive Director Scott Alvey tells us they were even prepared if someone chose to introduce a bill today.
They are working every day on issues that need to draw upon history, and they're making history. So we're hoping that they understood that history is not just a thing that has happened, but it's an empowerment piece.
Alvey says for some lawmakers, this was their first time seeing the old Capitol building. He's hoping it will not be their last. Governor Matt Bevin hosted a roundtable discussion on health care and Medicaid reform this afternoon. Hillary Thornton has more on that from Frankfort.
The discussion inside of the state capitol, including think tanks like the Heritage Foundation and the Pegasus Institute, along with Governor Matt Bevin and former Pennsylvania Senator and presidential candidate Rick Santorum, talking about a current proposal known as the Health Care Choices Act.
Takes the current flow of money from the Medicaid expansion and the tax credits and puts that into a block grant proposal, gets that money out to the states, and gives the states the flexibility to design a system that better meets the needs of that particular state.
And Kentucky is the first state for the Heritage Foundation and Santorum to visit on this campaign for Medicaid reform.
One of the reasons we came here is because Governor Bevin has been a leader on that. And so we thought, frankly, he was an easy mark.
Santorum referring to what he says has been innovative leadership by Governor Bevin in recent months implementing the Medicaid waiver program. Santorum says an argument often made at the federal level is that the states can't be trusted with the responsibility.
And so what we're saying is to states, prove them wrong. And Kentucky is one of the ones that's proving them wrong.
Governor Bevin saying Kentucky welcomes the responsibility and will take ownership in seeing healthier outcomes.
Coverage means nothing if it doesn't create access, and if that access doesn't result in better health outcomes.
Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
It is important to note several groups are challenging Kentucky's Medicaid waiver program and expansion known as Kentucky Health in court.
Well, as we head into tonight, a winter weather advisory to the north, a flood watch for everyone else. We're going to be looking at some heavy rain, and that heavy rain going to be leading our weather threats. We'll tell you how much coming up in 3 minutes.
And while the rain is certainly an issue right now in Clay County, officials say they have another persistent problem, people dumping their trash illegally. A look at the effort to clean up some sites.